Very early morning, everybody. I just gotta adjust myself. Normally I gotta adjust y'all, but I'm done. Okay, so I want to touch base on Logan Paul. Okay, how could I go about everything that's kind of happened a little bit? What he did was obviously beyond wrong. I mean, it's just wrong to go into a known place for suicide. First of all, no, okay? The fact that mental illness is very, very serious and very, very devastating to a lot of people and families, and it's so widespread is just, that's a problem, that the world is trying to, cope with, face, and help people with. And there needs to be more information about and more spreading the word about. Second of all, it just goes to my point to saying how desensitized our youth is. It's completely desensitized. One generation, I've said in my videos before, I have children in their 20s and I have children in their teens. And there is such a huge generation gap. It seems like their empathy and compassion is kind of harder to teach this generation that is coming up now. They're so desensitized. There's so much out there, between the way that the TV shows are now. And I know y'all gonna say, it's kind of like, when you were growing up and your mom said, when I was younger, and we all just sat there and rolled our eyes. And here I am telling you this, when I was younger. Oh, hell no. No, this stuff didn't happen. Our youth is too desensitized. It is. There's too much out there. The internet itself has desensitized our kids. TV shows and stuff has also desensitized our kids. I mean, when we've come into a generation where they can make a show on MTV 16 and pregnant and that be okay, is kind of like, holy shit, from when I was a kid, something like that would not fly at all. I'm just saying. I mean, it is. And sorry for this, video about the old times, but I'm very serious on that. It's just so desensitized. And Logan Paul has such a huge following. And the fact that, the part that aggravates me the most is that he found nothing wrong with it. I mean, he did that video, the zoom in, the laughter, the one apology video that he made that was just like, that was totally written out for you, but okay, and he's made a couple apology videos, and I don't, to be perfectly honest, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me, I don't really think he understood at first what he did, that it was wrong. I don't think he knew that. And that is the part that we need to discuss, is that in his mind, he did not think that was wrong because of everything being so damn desensitized. It's just my opinion, people. I'm not defending Logan Paul in any way because what he did was just downright shameful, and he's learning that hard lesson. He really is learning hardcore how bad that was. Hopefully. I can't speak for him. My apologies. Hopefully he's learning, and I want to say this to any youth person that's out there. Like I said in my last video, when you post something to social media, you have to understand who's watching it, what kind of content it has, and what it reflects. People are trying so hard, to make mental health, oh my God, I am so sorry, mental health awareness, that this just kind of took us a step backwards. It took us a step backwards, and it sucks. It does. And it's shameful that somebody put that out there not thinking that there was anything wrong with it. That's the subject that we need to touch base on, is that somebody actually thought this was okay, and until a whole flood of backlash came, that's when he realized it was wrong, okay? That's the part that we need to focus on, is that apparently we're not hitting our youth enough, or our younger generation enough, to advocate a lot of things, you know, violence, mental health, disability. There's like a whole slew. I can make this video 3 hours long. I mean, I just could. But it really goes into stepping up and teaching our youth that things are not okay. And there are a whole big ton of people defending Logan Paul. And I do appreciate that in one of his videos he said, "Don't defend what I did." And I appreciate that he did that. Because there are kids defending him, and I'm sorry, my feet are cold, so I'm sticking out a pair of fuzzy socks. I try to make a little lightheartedness in these videos and not too much seriousness, but in a serious situation, I always like to be serious, and I apologize for this. But I really think that is our struggles right now, is that he, at that particular time when he was doing what he was doing, I genuinely don't think he knew it was wrong. I mean, first of all, you have to think he thought of, I'm going to go into a suicide forest. Okay. But you know what? Kids did stuff like, I mean, look at Stand By Me. I mean, so, you know, it's not something, you know, but to sit there, post it, zoom in on the hand, it's just... But you know, he had to edit it and all this stuff. And then, so you know, he's seen exactly what he did. And he didn't think it was wrong. And that's the problem that we need to address, is the complete, just how everything's so desensitized for our younger generation. It's just so desensitized. It is. I mean, a lot of people can argue the gamings, you know, like the games that they have out now, you know, and things like that. I don't know what to blame on it, because there's so many things to blame. There's so many parts to blame. And a lot of people say, oh, it's the games, it's the TV shows, it's the this, it's the that. And this is just strictly my opinion. Don't get me wrong. But back in the day, and I'm talking about back before my day, people, don't start with me. But back in the day, you had like shows like the Waltons and stuff like that, where moms used to stay home and make cookies and pies and stuff like that. And then, you know, in my day coming up, you know, now in society, unless one parent has a huge, well-paying job, both parents have to work. You know, both parents have to work. I work, my husband works, but we work separate shifts, so there's always somebody home. But it's, both parents have to work. There's so many things that parents rely on for their kids because they have to work, you know, and there's not enough time. I don't even want to say there's not enough time. Sometimes things slip through about what our kids are watching, what our kids are doing, because, you know, we're busy trying to support them, you know. I don't know if that makes sense to use, but try to go with me on the road that I'm trying to go on here. It's just the desensitization of all of our youth is just out of hand. It just is. And it seems to me to get worse like every generation. It's getting so much worse. And the saddest thing that I take from the Logan Paul experience is that it happened, number one, and the fact that he did not know until there was this outcry that it was wrong. That's the part that we really need to focus on, is educating our youth and letting them know that there are bounds, there are lives that, you know, matter. There are situations in life that will affect other people's lives. And things that you say, I mean, we can get onto bullying, and bullying has always been around, though, by the way. I was bullied when I was a kid, but now it's a lot more hardcore. You know, it's not like back in the day when I was a kid, they'd be calling you just fat or something. It's a lot more physical. I want to say bullying is not only emotional, it's physical. And it's just a huge stigma that is going on in our world that you wish that we can stop. I mean, I really wish that we can stop it. I really wish that, you know, we can turn back time and you know, stop some of the things that are desensitizing our youth. And I don't know. But the hardest thing that I take from what happened with the Logan Paul situation is that he didn't find anything wrong with it when he first did it. And it took such a huge outcry for him to realize it was wrong. You know, I'm sure people are going to disagree with me on that. And that's okay, because I don't mind it. Because my opinion is always going to be different from everybody else's. But that's the most heartbreaking thing to me out of the whole situation, is that he didn't realize it was wrong until we all told him it was. So that was my cat. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video regarding that and the way that I felt about it. And, you know, hopefully we can just keep taking one step further to educate our youth and to kind of tell them that there's empathy, compassion. There are people different from you. There are situations different from you. Other countries and their cultures, and, you know, how mental health is such a horrible thing that to put on camera in that way. I mean, for somebody to take that step to commit suicide is just awful. And I wish somebody would have been there for that person that did. And I'm actually sad that there is a place like that in Japan called the Suicide Forest. I mean, that's sad. That's sad that that exists. So we have to have heart and empathy that in another country there is a place called the Suicide Forest, and realize that that's so hard, you know, for the mentally ill, that they have to have that kind of place. It's very sad. So anyway, we can always agree to disagree, but that are my thoughts and my takes on it. I think Logan Paul has a huge lesson to learn, and with his huge fan base, I hope he does really sit down and not just make an I'm sorry video, because that's okay. All right, you made an I'm sorry video. That's step number one. But I think he should do a video about exactly how wrong it was and why it was wrong, and explain to his younger and youth viewers, because that's 90% of his base. But I think he should really sit down and explain why it was so wrong. I think it's great that you made an apology. Okay, I'm all for that, to tell everybody it was wrong and you are sorry for it. But I really hope he makes a video on educating them of why it was wrong. So that's just my hopes that Logan Paul does, is that he makes a video to his fans of why it was wrong. And he makes a video of awareness himself, because you know what? Somebody with his huge subscriber base, if he made a video like that, an awareness of mental health, I think it would be amazing, because then it would reach a lot of people. So that's my thoughts on the whole situation. Happy very early morning. Kisses.